Some breaking news coming from the Twitter account KD Fans. They said that they got a hold of the plans and the layout for their brand new 2025 roller coaster that's going to take over the old Volcano plot. Now, Volcano closed down in what, about 2019 or something?
Yeah.
And ever since then, there's been talks of when exactly they're going to get a replacement.
Yeah, but the whole land hasn't been used for anything for years.
About maybe a year and a half ago or something, people started seeing that there were surveyors on the land, and people were starting to look at things and starting to get things in order for what people assumed was going to be a brand new roller coaster. Now, 2025, this makes sense because they haven't gotten like a real new coaster since 2018.
Yeah, like they got Tumbili a few years ago, but that's just a clone. So if you're talking about original coasters, that would be Twisted Timbers.
Yeah, and that was 2018. And before that, it was what, I-305 probably?
Yeah. So they get coasters very sporadically, like very rare.
Yeah, so they are due because they're a good park. They're an important park to the Cedar Fair chain. So they're definitely due another coaster. And here, if it is 2025, and if it is indeed the coaster that they're saying, I think it's the perfect addition, and we're going to explain why it's the perfect addition. But before we get into this video, we'd like to say thank you guys for joining us. If you're new to the channel, please go down and subscribe. And if you'd like to go extra above subscribing, you can go down in the description, and there's a link to our channel membership page where you can be like one of these fine people right here. They join our channel membership page, and they get things like exclusive videos, exclusive shout outs, pictures.
Yeah, pictures.
And they get the top tier, the studio partners, they get a new feature where they get some certain videos a day early.
Yeah. So just some of the videos that anybody sees, we show them earlier.
Yeah. So it's a great thing. So it helps us out a lot. It helps you guys out a lot. So go check that out. So now that we got all that done, let's get into this video. So they are saying that there's going to be a B&M launched wing coaster. Now, I'm pretty excited for this.
Yeah.
Usually coaster enthusiasts aren't excited about almost anything B&M related.
Unless it's a Giga coaster.
Yeah. The only United States launch B&M wing coaster is Thunderbird.
Yeah, it's Thunderbird, and Jumanji is the only other B&M wing coaster outside of the U.S. So there's only 2 launch B&M wing coasters in the whole world, and like I said, 1 in the U.S. So a very rare coaster. Like you don't see many of these at all, obviously.
And they're very fun. Like B&M has a nice punchy launch.
Yeah, like the only launch wing coaster we've ridden is Thunderbird, and it's a really good ride. Like both of our favorite wing coasters. The launch is surprisingly pretty forceful.
So they have a layout here, and the layout looks extremely short. It looks like you hit a launch, and then I don't know. It's tough to say if this is going to go straight into a bank, like a turn or something.
It's going to go to the right somehow. Not exactly sure how, but...
So they bank to the right somehow, and then it looks like they might hit an Immelman.
Yeah, like an airtime hill probably or something. And then maybe an Immelman. That would make sense. Or a dive loop. A dive loop could also be possible.
Okay. And then you were saying it looks like one part looks like it might be a corkscrew.
Yeah, maybe you could like turn a few times and then go into a corkscrew, which would be very strange for a wing coaster. You don't see many corkscrews on a wing coaster. Like that would feel pretty weird.
And then just a turnaround, and then you hit looks like you just kind of bank out. I mean, it's really tough to tell from this animation. This obviously isn't, or not animation, but little picture. It looks like, but whatever it is, it looks like a very short layout because they don't have a ton of room to work with. Already what they're going to have to do is right in front of Tumbili, like you guys can see here when we were at King's Dominion earlier in the 2023 season, you can see that this is a wide open space, and there's absolutely like nothing but just pathway and the entrance to Tumbili and entrance to Reptilian. So there's a couple entrances, and now it's going to be taken over by supports. There's going to be
a few supports. Like it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I don't know. Maybe there'll be, like, I'm looking at the picture. It'll probably go like over the pathway, but I mean, there's plenty of supports that go over pathways.
No, definitely. So. But you're going to have to like I feel like it's going to take away from the area because it's themed really well because that's their new jungle expedition area.
I think a little being nitpicky. I think
Well,
supports
no, I mean,
don't matter.
Yeah, obviously I'm being a little nitpicky, but that's my job to be a little nitpicky on stuff like this. Now I have a theory of why I think they're getting a B&M launch wing coaster opposed to maybe a more thrill coaster. We said earlier that their last two coasters, not counting Tumbili, were I-305 and Twisted Timbers, both extreme thrill coasters. You have an Intamin Giga and then an RMC that packs tons of airtime and is like a great coaster. But those two, I don't want to say were flops.
Well, Twisted Timbers definitely wasn't.
Not a flop, like they were both problems. So
Twisted Timbers had a slight, I mean, yeah, it breaks down a little bit, but like barely. Like Twisted Timbers, I think.
Well, I'm talking more about the accident that happened in 2018.
Oh, with the phone?
Yeah, a phone
Okay,
that caused
that's
Steel Vengeance and Twisted Timbers to go to a locker system
Yeah, that's true.
and not allow phones or any sort of loose objects on RMCs at Cedar Fair parks. So it kind of created a whole issue. And I-305 just doesn't get any ridership.
Well, yeah,
like the general
I-305
public do not ride I-305.
Well, yeah, that was a bit of a fail because they made it too intense. Of course, the first turn they always gray out. A lot of people just don't want to ride it. So yeah, that definitely was a bit of a fail.
So King's Dominion was basically punished for building I-305 and didn't get a new roller coaster for 8 years until they got Twisted Timbers. So I can see now they've tried two thrill coasters, so now they're going the nice, safe B&M route.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like this isn't a thrill coaster because it is, but like it's a B&M style thrill coaster, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah, it's something that's going to be safe and reliable, and the general public who come into the park are going to love it. And you don't even have a wing coaster in that area until you get over to, like, I guess Dollywood or something like that.
yeah,
So
that'll probably be the.
yeah, just some, like, so it says 2025, and I can fully believe that because, like we said, 2018, their last coaster. But this makes me feel, we were thinking that there was going to be a chance that Kings Island was going to get a new coaster for 2025. But I think that the fact that Kings Dominion is pretty much for sure going to be getting a new 2025 roller coaster, I think that puts the halts on a couple other parks.
Yeah, but Cedar Fair does do like 2 coasters a year.
2 coasters a year, but I see 2025 being Carowinds and Kings Dominion. That's what I can see, because I think Carowinds is another park that's long overdue since their last coaster was in 2019, Copperhead Strike, which was a very successful roller coaster for them. Mm-hmm. They're the opposite. Everything that they put in seems to be successful. But they're not going to put in 3 major roller coasters in their parks in 1 year. It's going to be limited to 2. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe that's why Kings Island is getting Snoopy's Soapbox Racers in 2024, because it's supposed to be a small family coaster that's supposed to tide people over until probably 2026.
Something to get to say, hey, look, we got a new coaster.
Yeah, in 2026, they'll get their new coaster, and probably something like Canada's Wonderland, because Canada's Wonderland has also been teasing a launch wing coaster. So I wouldn't be surprised if Canada's Wonderland gets something very similar to what King's Dominion is going to be getting, except a year later in 2026. Mm-hmm. But this is late breaking news. We did not come up with this. This was kdfans.com on Twitter.
Yeah, we didn't. We weren't looking around at secret King's Dominion archives and find this.
Yeah, so
which they were probably.
Yeah, they're all about King's Dominion. So thank you guys for coming up with this. And that's it for this video. We wanted to get this information out like we always do. Anytime anything comes across us, we'd like to get it to you as soon as possible. So today's Christmas Eve. So anything you want to say to everyone on Christmas Eve?
It's Christmas Eve today.
Okay, that's what he wants to say. So you guys have a safe holiday. We got tons of videos coming up. We're going to be at Kings Island for New Year's Eve, so we're going to do a whole vlog about that. We have your top 25 roller coasters that you do at the end of every year.
Yeah, at the end of every year, I ranked my 25 favorite coasters that I've ridden all time.
So that's coming out. We got a couple more things that we keep pushing back because videos like this keep getting in the way and coming out. So we got loads of content. So make sure you subscribe to this channel because you're going to be filled with content all through the off season, the Norse off season. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time right here on
Beach Cliff Studios.
See you guys.